Good morning, guys. Guys, you were both charged with criminal cases. Mr. Araujo, you were charged with public lewdness. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. And Ms. Serrato, you were charged with possession of marijuana. You are facing, and also public lewdness. You're facing up to a year in jail on the lewdness, and you're facing up to 6 months in jail on the marijuana. Guys, we're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. And on Araujo, he only has a one case, not the also POA, right? Okay, all right.
On December 2nd, 2024, officers were on patrol when he observed a vehicle parked on the dead end of a public roadway, and the officer observed two adults, the defendant, Serrato, and co-defendant Araujo, having intercourse in the backseat of the vehicle. Upon stopping the occupant, the officer observed the co-defendant's genitals being removed from the defendant's lower body as he got off her, as she was laid down in the back seat. The officer also detected a strong odor of marijuana emitting from the interior of the vehicle, and the defendant, Serrato, admitted to just having smoked along with being in possession of marijuana. She advised that all 7.6 grams of marijuana in the vehicle belonged to her, and the co-defendant stated he does not smoke marijuana. Both admitted to having sexual intercourse.
Got it. All right, guys, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to do this again in outside. I mean, great, but not where everybody can see it. Come on. Understand?
Sure.
All right, guys. How old are you, Mr. Serrato or Mr. Araujo?
30.
You're 30. What do you do for a living?
Construction.
What kind of money do you make a month? Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer? How much money do you make a month? A month?
Oh, a month. Oh, 16, probably like 24, 30, like 3,000 probably.
Okay, do you have children? All right, well, we're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer, okay? I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to use. No more marijuana. I'm telling you, okay, just don't. Also with you, no more marijuana. I'm finding probable cause in your case as well. You have the same conditions, no outside, you know what? No marijuana as well. What do you do for a living? How much money do you make a month?
I got with numbers. I'd like one check.
Where do you work?
I work at Memorial City Mall.
Okay, where in Memorial City?
Store gas.
Guess? Okay. Would you like to fill out an application for an appointed lawyer?
Sorry?
Do you want to fill out an application for a court-appointed lawyer? Okay, I'll have you fill out an application. We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. Do not leave until both of you sign our bond conditions, and then we'll have you go. Okay? So first, you're going to meet with Victoria. We're going to have you sign a reset, and then we'll have you both take a seat in the jury box, and then we'll excuse you here momentarily. All right? Please. Yes, on both of them, no marijuana, no fornicating out in public. No, you.
Ready?
You now have picked up a new case, Mr. Arispe. You now stand charged with terroristic threat or a family or a household member. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Officer was dispatched to a residence in response to a family disturbance. The complainant, the defendant's stepmother, stated that the defendant was upset because he was owed money. The defendant told other members of the complainant's family, if they don't have my money by tonight, I'm going to kill them, as well as I'm going to send my people to shoot them up. The defendant also told the complainant directly, if you don't have my money by tonight, you are going to see. A family member of the defendant and complainant stated that he had seen the defendant walking around with a pistol in his pocket, and the complainant knows that the defendant owned several rifles as well.
You are on bond for unlawful carrying of a weapon. Did we order him not to have one?
Yes, Judge.
Regardless, you've picked up a new case. What happens now is I'm going to revoke your bond in the first place and you will stay with me. I will appoint you a lawyer today, Mr. Arispe. so we can talk about how to go forward, but I am ordering you now not to have any contact with these people. Do you understand? And I'm going to tell you, you pick up a third case, I'm going to go bonkers on the bonds. Do you understand? I'm going to do everything in my power to protect this public at all cost. All right, goes with you. Do you mind appointing him? No? Yeah, when we get a lawyer. We'll do it. Is it Ally?
Ally.
Mr. Ally, you're charged with interference with duties of a public servant. This case is now 378 days old. You have been given PR bond after PR bond.
I lost my papers at the court.
Stop. Please don't say anything. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. I don't think we've even done probable cause in this thing. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning. On November 28, 2023, officer was dispatched to a meet firefighter response call and met with the defendant's mother, who reported to the fire department that she was pushed by her son. The complainant did not feel pain when she was pushed, and the officer was advised that the defendant was locked inside the bathroom. When the defendant walked out of the bathroom, he walked past the officer and stated that he was leaving. The officer grabbed the defendant by his right wrist to detain him for a family violence investigation, and he forcefully pulled his right arm away from the officer. A second officer pushed the defendant onto a bed to detain him. So the defendant sat up and stated, "I will punch you," and then swung at the second officer with a closed fist, but did not make contact. The defendant then ran out of the sliding glass patio door and onto a third floor balcony, where he jumped over the third floor balcony and fell to the ground below, got up and ran away. Approximately 50 minutes later, the defendant was located at a park inside the apartment complex, and the defendant was taken into custody.
All right, Mr. Alley, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with you. How old are you, sir?
21. Nah,
What do you do for a living?
stay at home. For,
You here with anyone today? Are you here with anyone today?
yes, mom.
Coming up, Mom. Thank you so much for coming. It's okay. Thank you so much for coming. Tell me what's going on with Mr. Alley.
He's intellectual.
Shh.
He's as an intellectual, learning, he also has diagnosis.
Okay. Are you taking medication, Mr. Alley? Is he taking it? Are you sure?
I know one is his caretaker, which is I think he is medicine. I take him to a psychiatrist too. He goes, regular. Marquise, did you tell him that?
I don't know. He's gonna have to remain silent.
We have a lot of problems. We can't get him to court. I'm here. I'm glad that you're here today, but it's the third time.
I had a transportation.
Just
But I scored him, I really speaks for him on all his, far as his diagnosis, everything that's going on with him. I mainly speaks for him because he can't speak for himself.
Okay.
So I'm the one talks for him.
Okay. Did you graduate from high school?
Yes.
Wonderful. So what are your plans now? Okay. Okay. I'll appoint you guys a lawyer today. The only thing I'm going to ask you, Mr. Alley, don't use marijuana. Don't use illegal drugs. I'd like to send him for a test now to make sure he's not using. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send him for a drug test right now, and I'm going to have him come back. And then I'm going to have you guys speak with a lawyer, and we'll figure out how to go forward.
Right.
Do not miss court anymore.
Cause he on medication. They be telling him, don't take, cause I be praying he don't, because it affect the medication.
I want to know now
and it
if he's,
affect your mental will.
I'm sending you for a drug test now, Mr. Alley. I'm telling you, no smoking marijuana. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you do, We will have it's okay. All I want you to know is that we're gonna work on making you into the best person that you can. But that can't happen if you're smoking marijuana. It's absolutely no. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you for a drug test now. I want you to come back. If you come back, good things will happen, I promise. We're not here to hurt you. We're only here to help you and have a ton of resources for you. But you gotta come back. That's how it works. Okay? All right, so what I'm gonna have you do, guys, just hang tight, take a seat. I'm gonna have you speak with Fleischer for a moment. We'll send you for a drug test and then come back, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sending you for a drug test and then I'm gonna have you come back.
Okay.
Take the test and come back. Do you have any questions? Okay. Mom, if you want to accompany him, that'd be great.
Yes, I am.
And then we'll just see you back here in maybe like
Make sure
30
you
minutes.
came today, so to see what's going.
Yeah,
with him.
take care of you. Don't worry, but just come back. We need you to come back, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right, please just have a seat, Mr. Allen.
Come on up, Mr. Anna has, come on up, sir.
We got him. I can't believe it. You're harder to catch than a leprechaun, man.
He's
For real.
been here for a minute, Judge.
This is the first time I've seen him in like 3 years.
Oh,
Well, maybe
well,
2.
he's been here since October.
How are you? You had cases, I guess, out of county. Was it Montgomery County or something like that?
Chambers.
Where was it? Chamber. Oh, ooh. Gotta be careful out there.
I know, they're going on the highway.
Give me the last name again, please.
Colbert,
That's right, Mr. Coleman.
and he's on today's docket on the jail docket.
All right. So you just entered in these 2 probations.
Yes, sir.
Be very, very careful. Because there's only so many times that they're gonna bend over to help you out before they send you to prison. So you have to have a halo on your head when you're on 2 felony probations, especially for this, what you got now.
Yes, sir.
It's not hard. If you're hanging around bad people, they're gonna. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 30 days in jail, credit for the 118 days that you've already done. This will go on your record. You need to understand from now on, with us here in misdemeanor, any more cases that you ever pick up, you're looking at a minimum of 90 days in jail.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to test on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible, you can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, there's no turning back.
Sir.
This is what you want to do.
Sir.
How do you plead to the offense, sir? I'll find you guilty. I'll sentence you to 30 days in jail, give you credit for the 118. If it's enhanced, abandon, please. Good luck. Just follow the rules. And if you ever have any problems, go back to the court. You're in a friendly court. They'll help you out. No issues ever. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Coleman. Thank you.
Thank you. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, the deal is this, ma'am. We can't get a hold of your lawyer. We don't know where he is. We've been trying to get him for hours. He tested negative, which is great.
That's good news to hear.
So
I didn't know.
we're gonna reset your case out, okay? We're gonna give you paperwork to try to get a hold of the lawyer. We'll give you a couple weeks. If you're unable to get a hold of him, just let us know, okay? Come back. Don't leave. Come back to court. Good things happen when you come back. Can you make sure that he comes back? This is the 3rd time.
Oh, yes,
Please.
well, see, I didn't know about the other court because he'd been in court already.
We're gonna give you the reset. That way you have it, so you know when the next court date
Right.
is, okay?
They said I got a feeling I cleared that.
Say it again?
They said I had a feeling I cleared that.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So we'll give you the reset. Just stay in touch. We'll try to get in touch with the lawyer. He's supposed to get a hold of you within 24 hours. If not, let us know and then we'll go further.
Okay.
Just stay in contact with the lawyer, okay? And take your medicine, Mr. Ali, okay? Okay, you guys have any questions?
You just come back for the court date and then,
Yeah, I guess I really don't want to talk to you without your lawyer. So the only thing, I guess, just, we need him here and I just can't get a hold of him. So we'll reset your case and hopefully he'll reach out to you today so that we can try to come up with a game plan. Okay? If he doesn't get a hold of you, just let us know and we'll go from there, I guess.
all right.
Okay?
What's the date of the case?
No, they got to come back, just 2 weeks.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But come back, okay? All right, okay, guys. Thank you, Mom. Okay. Come on.
I'm coaching on Nicholas Holland, and basically, we're trying to see what we can get done here. I think there's a rec for inpatient. We're trying to see if you would accept any intensive outpatient. And either way, we're gonna have to, just get through the holidays and do something, but it's gonna be one of those two, and it's ultimately which one you'll kind of bless.
I don't know. Should we do a TRAS?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Holland, come up.
He did the TRS and a recommended safety.
This is why we do this beforehand. You know what I mean?
What?
This, so we know exactly what to expect, Yeah. I don't know, Tad, why? I mean, we have you evaluated by clinicians for a reason. These people know what they're doing. They've done it 100 times. And they know the best way to move forward with the case. That's why we do it. I can not tell you how many times we've done a TRAS, we've deviated from what they say, and then we end up in a worse position because something happens. Now, I know you're going to tell me everything is little bunnies jumping in the woods, but you can never anticipate in life what's going to happen. And the problem is how do you deal with the stressors that come in life? Because that's what really defines a person. We all have issues, we all have problems, and they always come at the worst time. But the most important thing is, how do you deal with the stresses when they come? Do you turn destructive, self-destructive? Do you turn destructive in the public, right? Where you do something to endanger the public. That's why we have this. What they're suggesting is inpatient treatment.
Say it again?
I said, what they're suggesting is inpatient treatment.
Because you do have a job and
Yes, sir.
you have been working at this job for a while,
Yes, sir, for like a year and a half.
right? You've been very successful at this job.
Yes, sir. I'm a supervisor.
And that's what I'm saying. Even before we've done these things, you're already starting to turn things around.
Yes, sir.
And that's the kind of stuff, tell the judge how you've been turning things around. He needs to hear something to make him think that maybe, at least make him consider, outpatient rather than inpatient. Tell him, how your life has changed in the last year and a half.
Okay. Well, after I got the scram bracelet that you put on me, I knew that I knew it was like over with the games, the BS and all that stuff. And I just had to do right and do what I'm supposed to do. And I started just doing better at work because I wasn't drinking alcohol no more. Started doing better at work. They moved me up to a supervisor.
That's wonderful.
Started letting me manage money, invoices and stuff like that. And I just stopped hanging around the crowd of people that I was hanging around that go out and drink and party a lot. And I've just kind of been staying home or hanging out with my mom more. And
my mom used to tell me, dime con quien andas y yo te digo quién eres. It means, tell me who you hang out with,
yes, sir.
and I'll tell you who you are. And it's when you hang with dogs, you get fleas. Tad, let's do this.
Yes, sir.
Let me send him for a drug and alcohol test right now. Let's see. If he's clean, I'll acquiesce. But I'm going to tell you now, one problem, because I don't know, I'm not agreeing to this, but I will tell you that if we do go forward with this intensive outpatient treatment and you muck up, get ready, because I don't play.
That's fair.
So
Yes, sir.
let's send it, I'm gonna send him now for drug and alcohol test. If he's clean, I'm with you. But,
Can't thank you enough. That's more than fair.
okay,
More
All
than
right.
fair.
More than-
all right, so
Gonna be clean,
let's
right?
do this, Tad.
I know you will not be.
Let me see if I have your cell phone so I can tell you when he comes back. Let me see.
Okay, and
I don't have, do you mind? Here, give me your cell phone real quick and then just hang tight. We're gonna send you and then just come right back and then I'll text him and then we'll do everything.
Where do you want me to go to the jury box?
No, you can just sit out there. Sure, of course. This is your cell phone?
yes.
Okay, I'll text you when he comes back.
And then whatever we're gonna do, we'll just reset it. and do it.
No, we'll do it today.
Oh, but if you're sitting the inpatient, can we get through the holiday?
I'm not gonna agree. I don't know. Let's see first how he does.
Okay, well.
Then let's just see.
They bring him out.
Okay.
Mr. Ozio Olvera.
Is it Lucio?
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to pull it up. Olvera or Vasquez Olvera?
Tabii işte birkaç çeşit kalp emojisi.
Yeah, okay.
So his, the misdemeanor is the,
Oh, he's not here, is he?
he's here, he's back
That's
there.
him.
He told me that he hired counsel last week, so he's waiting on him to come in and sign on.
Mr. Olvera, come up. Or no, just hold on a second. Hold on, Mr. Olvera. Let's do this. Mr. Arispe, I forgot to do something while you were here earlier. And I essentially also wanted to wait for your lawyer to get here. You're on your terroristic threat. I'm entering in what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection. What that is that is a court order that identifies Ms. Hernandez Martinez as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of the Muskegon Street house. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. There's also two other, all right.
The only thing I want you to understand is you have not complied with bond conditions. You now, bless you, you now have an order for protection. If you violate this one, the state can and will file a violation protective order, and it's the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst cases that you can pick up. It's so bad that if you violate conditions on a VPO, I can have a hearing to hold you at zero bond until these cases are over with. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Heed this warning. You won't get another. Okay? We'll just have you sign it and then we'll put you back. Okay, I think, do you need anything else from me on that? We're good, right? I think we're good. Okay. Come up. All right, good morning, Mr. Olvera. We're not waiting for a lawyer. Your case is 181 days old, and today's the day for you to decide what we're going to do. If you wanted to have a lawyer, that lawyer should have been here today. You've had nearly 6 months to go get a lawyer. And now, on the day of decision, you can't just say, well, I got a lawyer to, no. Today is the day. We need to figure out where we're going with this case. You can either accept the plea bargain offer from the state. If you don't, we're going to set your case for trial.
I didn't even know there was an offer already.
Well, what's the offer in this case?
Your Honor, there's no offer currently on the case. I can speak
It's
to
180 days. How is there no offer?
Ms. Saba and see if she wants to put one on right now.
Please.
Yes.
All right, just go ahead, take a seat. We'll figure it out and then I'll get back to you. If anything, I'll give you a couple days, but I'm not giving you much time. You get the offer today and you get a couple days to figure it out, but I'm not waiting any more than that. Do you understand? Let's see what they offer. Perhaps you have something you like today.
Judge, as his current lawyer, this the felony is the underlying crime for his misdemeanor. So I would not advise him to take any offer, no matter what it is, so.
Oh, I didn't even know that he had a felony. What's going on with the felony?
Your Honor, on the felony,
Wow, it's a big time theft, huh?
felony either, Your Honor.
I can email the felony prosecutor, judge, and see what's going on. They haven't put in an offer yet. I can put in an offer on my case. It's the UCW, but I just need to run it by felony first.
And when you email them, see where it's headed.
Mhm.
Are you gonna put an offer in the case?
Well, it's out of the same transaction.
What happened? I see it's a big theft. Is it car?
It was an auto theft, Your Honor. Yes.
Do you want us to read?
No, but what's the value? 40,000, 50,000?
The value is approximately 56,000.
Okay. Yeah, so can you give us a little bit? Let's see what they say. Perhaps they'll give us a little bit of guidance on how they want to go forward and, you know,
I'll email them right now.
thanks. Hey,
I've got a case from a month or two ago. He bonded out and needs bond conditions.
you mind bringing them up?
Mr. Bledsoe. Oh. I just sent him down. Give me one moment, Judge. Thank you. Hey, what's Steven's last name?
Our bailiff?
Yeah.
Carson.
Carson?
Carson.
Okay. Occurs to me that it's somewhat unprofessional to say, hey, Steve.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, I talk to him every day, but still. Yeah, all right. Let's stand here. Yes, sir. No, sir. On play side. All he's doing is setting the rules that you're going to follow, okay?
Yes, sir.
What's the name?
Bledsoe. Evading arrest and terroristic threat. He was in custody because he had a pending felony with 228. So he's bonded out on all. The evading, I think, is 12 yards per the officer.
So I see that on 10/17 of 24, he picks up a felony assault. And 3 days later, he picks up a terroristic threat, and then he picks up an evading arrest. And they give him PR bonds on these cases? Is that what happened? And
He bonded out since his last setting. I didn't check to see if they were PRs or not, Judge. I know that he had to pay money in felony court.
yeah, it's just, I'm not down with PR bonds on this. I mean, he picks up 2 new cases if it's the same. Well, hold on a second. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You've now picked up 2 new cases. You picked up a terroristic threat. You picked up an evading arrest.
I will say our cases are the new cases. So I wouldn't call them
Alright.
new, they're just cases. Well, he picked up the felony and then afterwards he picked up these 2 misdemeanors.
I don't understand why he's coming here in December when he got a bond in October. How on earth is it?
He was in custody, I think, on the felony.
Oh, I see. Okay, and then he bonded out of the, right, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Please, what happened?
On October 19, 2024, officers were dispatched to a minor crash at a residential home in Harris County, Texas. The call described a male at the location crashing his motor vehicle, then pulling a gun and was trying to fight people at the location. When officers arrived at the location, they observed people at the location pointing at the defendant. Upon contact with the defendant, the officers introduced themselves as Houston police and told them to stop. The defendant then walked into his residence and came back out approximately 2 minutes later. The officers instructed the defendant to come towards them, but the defendant began to evade on foot from the officer the second time. The defendant ran approximately 12 yards from the officer before placing him in handcuffs. A person search on the defendant revealed he had a prior arrest and an active felony warrant. Upon contact with the complainant advised the defendant was driving up and down the street in his car and crashed. The complainant stated the defendant began to tell the complainant he was going to shoot him and kill him. The complainant advised the defendant then began to reach into his waistband and kept saying he was going to shoot him. The complainant feared for his life and felt threatened by the defendant's statement.
I will say, gun was never found, no charges where the gun were ever filed. They charged him with terroristic threat. They would have charged him with ag assault if the police had believed that a firearm was used.
Mr. Bledsoe, let me make something perfectly clear to you. I will do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs. And I don't care if I have to make your bond $2 million. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my public at all cost. Do you understand? I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what, nothing. I want my county safe. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me that you're not going to have any weapons whatsoever. And if I find that you have a weapon, I can have a contempt hearing. You're looking at 180 days in jail every time if you're caught with a gun. Do you understand? I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is going to be in your system as well. I'm ordering you not to use alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to test you like crazy. Do you understand? What do you do for a living?
I work for Leland Airmark Bakery.
Okay, that's what you need to concentrate on. Working a lot so that your time is occupied. When you have too much time on your hands, you become self-destructive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do
You're
you
right about
have, thank you. Do you have a Texas driver license?
that.
It's a yes or it's a no. Then you're not allowed to drive. On this affidavit, you will also be promising me that you're not going to drive. Do you?
Do you have a different state's driver's license?
City?
He asked if you have a Texas driver's license. Do you have a driver's license from any other state?
No, I'm from Houston.
Okay, sorry. I'm just making sure you didn't have Louisiana or something.
Not drive. I am also putting on this affidavit that you're not going to drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You're looking around, you're just, heed this warning, Mr. Bledsoe. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I totally understand. I only have one off day. I just sleep all day.
Did he say, did I hear him say that he had an objection?
No, most definitely not.
He was just
No.
asking me a question.
Okay,
No
just
objections.
don't use. Stay out of trouble. You're in enough hot water as it is. You know, the thing is, Mr. Bledsoe, is that a lot of people make very, very poor choices when they're out there in life. And sometimes that choice makes it to where you will live the next 40 years in a 6x9 box. And I'm going to tell you now, I've read have you been to prison before?
Nope.
I've read, I want you to hear me. I've read stuff about what happens in prisons, and it had me in tears. It was as bad as could possibly, if you think of your worst nightmare, it's worse in our Texas prisons. They don't give a rat's behind about you, and you will be passed around like a proverbial doll. It's awful. Believe me, it's not worth it. Don't have a gun.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Judge, did you want to know contact I'm referring from as well?
Yeah. Judge Hatton, it's so great to have you back. I heard it was just like,
I had flu Rona and then it turned into actually a mild pneumonia as well, so I'm glad to be.
I'm so sorry, man. But I'm really happy that we're here, you know, sometimes it's just not fair, you know?
It is, you can stand a stack on you at one time.
Oh, that's right. All right, you are Mr. Gary Graves?
Sure.
Good morning, Mr. Graves. Sir, you're charged with evading arrest or detention. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you a year in jail. I'm sorry, a year. You're facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine, but you've worked out an agreement that they're offering you 100 days in jail, credit for the 104 days that you've already done. Is this how you understand it?
Yes, sir.
You need to understand, Mr. Graves, that this is an enhanceable offense, meaning that if you ever pick up another evading like this, you will be facing a felony charge, years instead of days. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Is this what you want to do? If you go forward with plea, you're giving up the right to a trial. I've done that, right? How do you plead to the offense, sir? Guilty or not guilty? I'm gonna find you guilty. I'll send it to you the 100 days in jail, give you credit for the 104. Be careful, man. Life's too short. You know what I mean? All right, good luck.
Because I also have Mr. Trujillo this morning.
Morning, Mr. Holland. Ready to go?
Yes, sir.
You know, you can lie to me, but you can't lie to yourself, and you can't fool yourself, and you can't get away. You are who you are. If you have a problem, you have a problem. It's better to own up, man up, and get it done before it becomes too late. You've got one life to live, right? And the more convictions you rack up, the more dangerous you act out in this world. Hopefully you don't do damage that's irreparable, where you go out, you kill someone. And the thing is that we get that you don't intend to do it. No one does, right? No one intends to go out and kill someone in a car, but it happens. And when you do, there's serious, serious justice. DWI is big business in the United States. It's expensive. And here, every single day in Harris County, someone dies from a DWI or an alcohol-related collision. Every single day. We lead the nation per capita in DWI fatalities. It's a disgusting statistic. And it's so avoidable because literally all you have to do, one button on a phone, $30, anywhere you want to go in the city, no matter where you want to go. How much money have you spent on all this here when it's a rhetorical question. What I'm trying to get you to understand, it's $30 anywhere you want to go. This is going to go on your record. Today is that proverbial slap on the wrist, but from now on, you will be facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. And if you act like a child, where you can't control yourself to get in a car when you've gone out on a night of drinking, then we will treat you like a child. And like I told you earlier, or I didn't know if I told you, but we have a lot of kids in there. Some kids are young, some kids are 60 that never grew up. You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty to an offense, it will go on your record. It'll be there for the rest of your life. You can never take it off. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the office of driving while intoxicated?
Say guilty or no contest?
It's guilty.
Guilty?
Yeah. I will find you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in jail, give you credit for the 2. I have to suspend your license. I will suspend it for 90 days, which is the minimum. Do not drive. And I'm absolutely serious. Driving on a suspended license is a Class B, just like a DWI. So if you get popped driving, then you're going to be right back over here and things will not go well. You understand? From now on, even if you pick up a suspended license, it's a minimum of 30 days in jail. You understand? Now, I told you DWI is big business. Is this a 15 or above, or is it just a regular DWI?
I don't believe it was a 0.15 above 0.15, but let me double check. Oh, actually, it was a 0.165, Judge.
Wow. Is it true or untrue that you had a 0.15?
True.
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 The reason I'm asking you this is because now, instead of a $3,000 surcharge that you will owe to DPS, it's now $4,500 plus court costs of another $400. So it's now a $5,000 bill that you have to foot. And if you don't pay it, you sit in jail 1 day for every $100 that you owe.
So
I think that you wanted to tell me something, Ms. Spurlock, right?
Yeah, so Judge, he is working again. He makes maybe, it's gonna be between $3,000 and $4,000 a month. He does pay his own rent, living expenses. Until recently, he was helping to support a girlfriend and children, but that has since not worked out.
Wait, say that again.
So that relationship broke off, so he is now
Okay.
back supporting himself. But when it comes to finances, he does have some issues where he's not really making that much money. So if you could help me on that fine,
Well,
that would be,
I love to help people, but the problem is that I asked you to remain clean and sober. You test positive. What did you test positive for?
It was presumptive for THC, and he did state to our technician that he had consumed marijuana around a month ago.
I would told her I was a very heavy smoker prior to that, and I just got basically, excuse my language, my head out of my ass like a month and a half ago. And that I read that on there, it can stay in your system longer than for 30 days. And I told her, I was like, I haven't smoked in 30 days, but prior to that, I was a heavy smoker, so it could still be
You
there.
still test,
It was
you're
still-
still
I
your
understand.
thing.
I understand.
How would I know
You
you
wouldn't.
didn't smoke a joint yesterday?
You wouldn't.
You know what I mean?
You would have to believe me, which is not a very easy thing to do right now.
Everyone tells me it's little bunnies jumping in the woods here. Everyone,
I understand.
I want you to understand, Mr. Holland, that I'm not going to play this game with you again. You come back here with the DWI, it's a $6,000 surcharge, not to mention court costs. You can probably leave here owing around $7,000, not to mention a bunch of jail time. Heed this warning. You won't get another. I will reluctantly waive your cost today, but if you come back here with the DWI, get ready. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Use Uber. It's there for a reason.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see.
The 0.15?
True to the enhancement. Yeah.
No, we don't have it on the information.
Oh, is it not pled?
Your Honor, it's not pled on the.
Because it was probably, I guess, the blood warrant judge.
Got it. Okay. All right. So just don't do the enhancement then.
So you still want to do the, what the house is? Or the-
No, it's 3,000 because it's not, if it's not alleged, then we can't do it. But so the 3,000, we'll waive it and then with the court costs. All right, but good luck to you. Remember, 30 days in jail from now on.
I won't do this again.
We'll see. Actions speak louder than words.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, thank you, Ms. Furlock. I got to tell you, I was disappointed that you took off. I really was. But you're back. How did we get him? Did he come in voluntarily or did they catch?
Your Honor.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it wasn't right. We're going to keep at it. I'm not letting you go, Mr. Frazier. I'm going to keep you until, we make you the best person that you can absolutely be. You can't continue. The only thing you're doing is you're killing yourself. Slowly. Life ravages your body. The more destruction you do to it, you're only making things worse. Life doesn't get better when you age and you can just continually destroy it. I hope that you get it before it becomes too late. Some people, it's like children, right? Some children mature, some children never mature. They're 60 years old in there and they've never matured. You want to party? Great. Do it responsibly. Don't hurt others. But at some point, it's going to stop, right? If you want to drink, okay, hey, yeah, but you got to be responsible with anything in life. When you don't, I'm keeping you till the end. We're going to make this work one way or the other, Mr. Frazier. So they've worked you out a great deal. All you have to do is go back. They'll dismiss the felony. You're looking at 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. But I'm going to tell you now, if it happens again, what's the likelihood of the same thing happening again, of them dismissing a felony? So heed the warning. They just caught him out there, Alex?
I don't have any information
No.
besides seeing the warrant returned unexecuted, so it doesn't seem like
Okay.
he was arrested on anything.
We wish you the best of luck. Stay there. Don't go. Okay? All right, Mr. Frazier. Good luck. Thank you so much, Mr. Booker. Good morning, Mr. Trujillo. Sir, you were charged with terroristic threat of a family or household member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. December 3rd, 2024, officers were dispatched to a disturbance at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The officers were advised that the complainant had been threatened by the defendant who was still in the apartment. The complainant stated that he was in his apartment when his roommate, the defendant, came banging on the door. The complainant stated that the defendant was going to open the door, and the defendant made his way in with a stick or a bat and began to threaten him by stating he was going to kill him. The complainant then stated that he was in fear for his life due to the defendant's past aggressions toward him.
Any drugs or alcohol? Any indication?
No, Your Honor, there's no indications of drugs or alcohol.
Okay. Mr. Trujillo, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Please don't talk to this person anymore. I'm making it a condition of your bond. You're not living with him now, are you?
No, sir. Nowhere near. I'm gone from there.
Right. There's a protective order that's been issued in this case. You got to get to know it. If you violate this protective order, the state can and will file a violation of a protective order against you, and things will go sideways real quick. So we're not asking for much. Just don't have any contact with him. Don't have any weapons, and just be nice.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? Are you working?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I'm an insulator.
You're an insulator.
Yes, sir.
What do you insulate?
We insulate hot pipes, boilers, stuff from the Navy base.
What kind of money do you make a month?
Right now I'm unemployed because I lost.
I was asking if you're employed.
Oh, no, I work on and off on part-time. And right now I'm kind of off right now because of the fact that I went to jail that day.
Let you off? Okay. You want to apply for an appointed lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to give you an application. Don't pick up any new cases.
Yes, sir.
Be good while you're out there. That's all we're asking. You understand? All right, I'll have you fill out the application. Steve is going to get it to you. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria. We're going to have you take a seat. I need to get bond conditions. We need you to sign it. And then I'll have you talk to a lawyer here momentarily.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Hey, bud, what's up?
Yes, I was approaching on behalf of William Spencer regarding bond and bond condition.
Page 42. 30 days.
You're here on Peyton, you said?
William Spencer, William Spencer.
Okay, we need to set a bond.
Yes.
So Alex, Mr. Spencer looks like on 9/20/24 picked up an FSGI. At the same time, it looks like he also picked up 2 aggravated assaults with a deadly weapon. Is it all in one continuous car accident just gone awry? Do you mind bringing him out, please? Hey, hold on, Morgan, let's
Yes, Judge.
get him out, please. Hi, Aaron, how are you? Please, you want to talk to me real quick? Yeah, of course. Hi. Hey, how are you? I'm David, nice to meet you. How are you? You're in great hands. He's the best. I'm telling you, really.
Studying for LSAT and we'll see where we go.
It's great. You got to do it. It's a great profession. You learn so much. It's hard, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? It's a rite of passage. Study hard. Good things will come. And then when you get into law school, the amount of information you learn, it's incredible. Even if you don't practice.
And then he went to the
I had
supplement
a
and
friend made, and I tell this to a lot of people, right? 300 million. I think he got a judgment. 300 million. Can you imagine? Sick. But if you treat the law well, it'll treat you back. It'll pay off in dividends.
that's how they found.
Yeah, you're in great hands. And you're welcome to come anytime and hang out with us if you want.
I think, right?
Yeah, great. Yeah, of course. Good luck.
Yes, and then they saw him, and they're like,
Yes.
Oh,
so
look,
the
you were
FSGI
involved in the FSGI.
Yeah, so the FSGI was on 950.
Jesus,
Yes.
okay.
Morning, Mr. Spencer. How are you? It looks like you have picked up a failure to stop and give information, which is essentially leaving the scene of an accident. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. I have no idea what happened on your case, so we're going to do probable cause at this point. The only thing I do know is that you're set at no bond at this point, that's not a good thing. So we're going to set you a bond. I just don't know what. And I do know that it looks like out of the same transaction, you picked up also 2 aggravated assaults with a deadly weapon. Those are each set at 150,000. So with that in mind, please.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Spencer, before they read this, this is your attorney, Alan Williams. Do not say anything. Just let them read the probable cause, okay?
Yes, Judge. On September 18, 2024, officers were dispatched to a suspicious person call in Harris County, Texas. The officers were investigating and noted the vehicle involved in an aggravated assault matched the description of a truck in a hit and run case. The officer observed a blue Sierra parked on a construction site and observed the Sierra to have a broken right front headlight. The officer ran the license plate and learned the truck was listed as a suspicious vehicle in a failure to stop and give information. The officer met with the owner of the Sierra, the defendant, and the defendant stated he is the owner of the blue Sierra and that he is the only one that drives the truck. The defendant stated that on September 15th, his daughter used the truck and told him she was involved in an accident, but did not give any information to the other driver. The officer spoke with the complainant who stated that on September 15th, he was parked at a gas station and he was pumping gas when the defendant struck his vehicle on the front driver's side. The complainant stated the defendant drove away, sideswiping his vehicle, and the complainant called 911 and followed the defendant as he drove away to a nearby gas station. The complainant stated he observed the defendant almost strike a building while driving in front of the gas station, and the complainant remained in visual contact of the defendant and watched him exit the vehicle and enter the gas station, stumbling while almost falling over while walking. The complainant stated the defendant remained in the store for about 10 minutes before leaving the store, and that the driver of the truck was a white male, and the complainant stated the defendant caused $3,000 worth of damage to his vehicle. And the officer reviewed surveillance video from the gas station and saw the defendant as the only occupant of the vehicle.
Okay. What happened with the ag assaults?
So it was, I believe that when the officers were called for the FSGI, when they were called to that place, I think it was an apartment complex or construction site. They, I think, noted that that was the vehicle that the suspect in the ag assault had been driving at the time of the ag assault, because the ag assault occurred in an apartment complex. I think that's how they connected them.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how they, I guess, connected this defendant,
What was
but it
it?
wasn't out of the same transaction.
Was it though? Did he hit someone with the car?
No, Judge, so the officers were dispatched to an apartment complex. The complaining witness or a witness stated the defendant was firing a gun while out of the vehicle. Officer spoke with the complaining witness, age 13, who states that he was walking with friends and observed a Hispanic male sitting in a truck parked on a street, arguing with a black male inside the apartment complex in the gated area in Harris County, Texas. Complaining witness stated he observed the male in the truck pull a handgun and start shooting in his general vicinity. The complaining witness was struck in the knee, requiring medical treatment. I believe a different complaining witness states that he and his friends were near the pool area of the apartment complex and heard gunshots and started running and realized that I guess their friend had been shot in the foot. But yes.
Okay. Do you guys have a recommendation as to a bond?
We're gonna ask the bond be set at $10,000, Judge.
Did you hear that, Alan?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. Given the circumstances, that would be a good one.
You're in agreement then?
Yes, Your Honor. He's currently on a parole hold as well. And his current bond at felony level is, I think, set at $150,000.
Right. So there is a parole hold. So I guess this doesn't, I was going to do a no driving affidavit, but I mean, don't drive. You know, there are happy drivers and then there are people who are not happy drivers, right? Just don't drive, please. All right. We'll set your bond at, Mr. Spencer, I'll set your bond at 10,000. If you bond out, you must come here. Well, I guess you can't bond out. He's got a blue warrant, right? You know, what's he on parole for? Do you know?
NCIC.
Yeah, Judge, sorry. There's a little bit of criminal history.
Aggravated robbery for you.
Okay. Thanks. But just don't, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but if you do somehow get out, please come back here for the next business day for bond conditions. But as a condition of your bond, I'm ordering you not to drive now, regardless. Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do is I guess we'll wait it out to see what happens upstairs. We'll just keep this rolling with that. And at some point, something will happen and then, you know, but yeah. All right. Good luck, Mr. Spencer. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor. Also, I want to.
So hold on, let's get you a date. The felony is set for 1/8. You want to do the next day?
Yes, Your Honor. That'd be great.
Okay. All right. Good luck, Mr. Spencer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You requested the 21st.
Oh, yeah, of course. If that's, you want the 21st or do you want the next day? Whatever you want, Alan.
The next date would be fine.
What day?
Yeah, that's the 9th, 1/9. It's a Thursday.
1/9?
1/9 here. Mr. Patlan?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you're charged with driving while your license is suspended. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On December 2nd, 2024, officers were dispatched to a minor accident on Sam Houston Parkway. Upon arrival, the officer met with both parties of the accident as well as a witness. The witness advised that there were minor disturbances on the scene in which a knife was brandished by the defendant who was parked across the street from the accident. The officer identified the defendant and discovered he had a mandatory suspension on his driver's license for a second DWI. And the defendant advised that he had still been driving for work. He had personal business despite having personal knowledge of the suspension. The defendant stated he was driving from San Antonio and was only waiting for his coworker who was involved in the accident.
Does he have an open DWI right now?
Does not appear so, Your Honor. It appears that the last DWI he had was in 2019 out of Bexar County.
Bear
County, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Patlan, I want you to understand one thing. I'm going to find that there's, so wait a second. Someone saw him driving or did the officer see him driving? Because I didn't.
He admitted that he had been driving for work. And he admitted to having personal knowledge of suspension as well.
Did anyone see him driving?
No, Your Honor, there's only the
Do
state.
we know even when he was driving?
There was an accident. That's what dispatch involved. And then he.
Okay, so, all right, okay, so.
There was an accident and then officers arrived and then they made contact with the defendant.
Got it. So all this was in response to an accident that he was allegedly involved in.
Yes.
Got it. All right. So I am going to find probable cause, Mr. Patlan. And no, don't. You have the right to remain silent, exercise. I've got about a bunch of DAs here. Anything you say, they're going to use it against you. But let me make something abundantly clear to you. I'm going to have you sign with me today an affidavit. This is a promise that you're making to me that you're not going to drive. I don't care what is going on in your life. When we mean no driving, we mean no driving. I don't care if there's a burning building and you have to save 50 kids. Do not drive. If you do, I can have a contempt hearing facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? I don't care what your excuse is. You cannot justify at all any reason. If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance, and then we can talk. But until that point, I will even do this. This is the number to the DPS driver's license division. If you call them, they can tell you exactly what you need to do to get your license back.
Classes now, sir.
There may be, an SR 22, you may have to do all these other things. What you need to do is call them and they can advise you, but don't drive. Do you understand?
And Your Honor, I do have to make a correction. After reading the full DIMS, the defendant was parked across from the accident. It was his coworker that was involved in the accident. He was parked across, Your Honor, and I do apologize. After reading the complete DIMS, the officer wrote that the defendant was parked across the street from the accident, and he made a statement that he was waiting on his coworker who was in the accident.
No one sees him driving.
He was just parked across the street.
No, no, what? Really?
He made the statements that he was.
I get it.
He was in the vehicle and he made the statements.
I took a shower today. You know, no, I mean, you just make a statement. I mean, no, there's no proof.
To having knowledge of the suspension, and he was in the vehicle parked across the street.
But no one sees him driving?
He did make a statement.
No. All right, I'm gonna find no probable cause. Sir, be careful.
I will.
We have enough.
I understand.
All we're asking you to do is follow the law. It's really not hard. Give them a call. They can tell you exactly what you need to do. That's the way we do things, right? All right, sir. Just hang tight for me, okay? Thanks. Good morning, Mr. Bolden. So you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 7 days that you've already done. Is this what you want to do, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You understand that you're pleading guilty, right?
Yes.
You understand it's going to go on your record, right?
Yes, sir.
You need to understand from now on, you are facing a minimum of 30 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You give up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, you cannot change this or undo this. You still want to do this?
Yes, sir.
You know, Mr. Bolden, if you come back, good things happen. It's not hard, you know? Just don't say anything now. For future reference, when you come to court, good things happen. Everybody works here is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Failing to appear.
Yes.
Come back. Good things will happen for you.
Yeah.
How do you plead to the offense of criminal trespass? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'll find you guilty. I will follow the agreement. I'm gonna roll your court costs so you won't owe anything. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay,
All
thank
right. Thanks, Carl.
Mr. Bolton.
Sure.
All right, Judge, page 2, Alvaron.
Hey, hi, Marcos. How are you?
Good.
Who we have?
Page 2, top of page 2, Alvaron.
Got it. Good morning, Mr. Albaran. Sir, you were charged with illegal dumping. You were facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Judge, and the officer went to 16938 Tomball and saw newly dumped debris at the location. The officer reviewed surveillance video from a department-owned camera and observed a vehicle pull into the dumping site and showed debris in the bed of the truck. The video showed the truck leave and the debris was on the ground. The video was able to capture a Texas license plate, and the officer performed a search for the vehicle's owner, and the officer was able to find the registered owner of the vehicle, as well as the truck's title holder. The officer attempted to make contact with the company, and at a later time, the officer went to a residence to meet with the owners of the truck. There, the officer was met by a Hispanic male who was identified as, I apologize, Your Honor, as Freddie Alvaron, and he advised.
Freddie?
Yes, it says identified as actually Freddie Antonio Guevara. And this male was advised who the officer was and was shown photos of the truck he used. The male was asked if he recognized the truck in the dumping. He did recognize the truck. And he was asked if the truck belonged to the company. He said yes. And he was asked who was driving the truck in question and was shown videos of the dumping to see the driver. And at that point, the male advised the person driving the vehicle is the defendant. The male then advised the defendant was not there at that point. And the officer was able to provide, or the male was able to provide a phone number for the defendant.
Does he admit that?
It says that the defendant was asked about the dumping and he admitted to the dumping.
Mr. Albaran, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen, sir? Do you have a Texas driver license? CDL. You have to be very careful with that CDL. You need to understand that you are held to a very high standard with the CDL. If you don't believe me, go look. Because of the permissions you have to drive other vehicles, you are held to a higher standard. If I find that this occurs again, I'm going to take your ability to drive away. I'm not putting any conditions on your bond now, but if I find that you participate in any of these activities, any kind of reckless driving or whatnot, I'm going to take your ability to drive away. Do you have liability insurance in your name? As long as you have both, you can continue to drive. Just don't pick up any new cases. You have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, we will waive your appearance. Stay in touch with Marcos. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, we will issue a warrant for your arrest. I'll have you sign a receipt with Victoria and then we'll have you just get out of here. All right, just take care. Okay.
Excuse me?
Thank you. Yes.
This way.
So no conditions.
All right, Judge, next is page, next is page 4. Araguyo William and the co-defendant on page 21, Serrato. Judge, is there state's bond conditions on this one?
No, no condition. So you said, what was it first?
Page 4.
Page 4. All right, got it.
Top of page 4.
I'm not happy with you, Mr. Johnson. You're on bond in this case, and now you've picked up a felony case. The only thing I asked you to do, behave yourself, don't pick up any new cases. And now, Morgan, what has Mr. Johnson picked up?
Unauthorized possession of a catalytic converter.
Wow, what happened? Please.
So officers were dispatched to an apartment complex. The security guard in the apartment complex observed the defendant. Observed in plain view in the defendant's vehicle 3 catalytic converters that were freshly and jaggedly cut, and defendants were not mechanics. There's 2 defendants in this case. Defendant 1 was under a vehicle cutting the converter. When he saw security, he attempted to escape by jumping into a vehicle where defendant 2 was in the driver's seat. Security stopped them from leaving.
So where was Mr. Johnson?
I'm just trying to figure out if he was the number 1 or number 2 defendant, Judge. 1 second.
Right, where was he? Was he in the car? How do we know if it's him? I don't want to try the case, right? But I don't want to.
Sorry, Judge, in the DIMS, they just identified the defendant 1 and 2. Let me just pull up the offense report really quickly. Okay, so Mr. Johnson was under the car. He was the defendant that was under the car, and then there was another defendant in a waiting vehicle.
So was he in the act of taking another one?
Yes, he was in the act of trying to steal a catalytic converter when the security guard caught him.
I am now going to revoke your bond on your first case. I asked you not to get in trouble. You've now picked up a felony case. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Your Honor, I would ask that the court set a bond and obviously.
I understand.
Yeah.
each one of those is like $5,000-6,000 and someone has to. Life's hard enough as it is, man. You know, really. Goes with you. Hi, Ms. Sigler. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
So it's making a firearm accessible to a child. Did someone pass away as a result?
So this one was the defendant is the father of the children. There were 3 children playing. And then the gun or the weapon was found on the bed and one of the children was trying to get rid of the gun and then ended up shooting and killing his 10-year-old brother, shooting in the side of his head. And I spoke with Caroline on this, but I was more comfortable deferring to you without an agreed rec on what you thought was appropriate here.
I don't know.
I looked at the mitigation packet, but
What did you think?
for some reason, the case is 2 years old and it was only a 7-page packet. I felt that his statement wasn't really, taking as much responsibility overtly for this. And then it was images of their family. I understand all of that, but with 2 years going on, I don't know why this wasn't resolved with the other chiefs or what's going on, but I just wanted to see a little more with it.
Mr. Gutierrez, come up. Come up.
And Your Honor, do you want to translate it for this?
Oh, he doesn't speak English.
No.
Got it.
Morning, Judge.
Hi, Luis, how are you? So are you okay with going without an agreed rec, Ms. Siegler?
Sorry.
Are you okay with going without an agreed rec? Where was the weapon initially? Do you know?
It was found on the bed.
Just the gun is laying, a gun is, just- well, I mean, do we know where it was initially before it was used? I guess that's my question.
There were several guns in the house. If you, one moment, let me pull up the OR, but this one that was involved in the accident was found on the bed. 1 second.
Yeah.
The mother, the complainant, or sorry, next of kin advised that she was told that one of her children was trying to make the bed and in the process moved the firearm and it was discharged. And the child did not know that the gun was loaded.
The worst, that's the worst nightmare.
I know.
It's just, it's awful. I don't know. I don't. I think that there has to be some punishment, right?
Your Honor, we're happy to speak to him and have him redo his mitigation packet.
But the thing is that he's had the chance to do it. You know what you're supposed to do. And if you can't own up to it at that time, then, I mean, that's truly what you mean at that time. Right? So I'd like to see it, if you don't mind, his letter to see how he feels. Is he truly remorseful? You know, because, you know, on one end, I would think that the fact that your own child is dead because of you, is that punishment enough? Right?
That's where I was at too, Your Honor, which I was conflicting on.
If you can't even take responsibility for it, I mean.
And
You
the
know,
next of kin, the mother, the prior chief did speak with her in person. We followed up with her over the phone. And she has expressed they've all been to therapy, obviously, and she said to leave it up to us.
Are they still together? Are they, is the family still together?
Yes.
So let's do this. Let's get the plea done. I'd like to get it done today. It's 200 days old. Do it. There's gonna be some. Okay? Not as much, but there's gonna be some. And then, but then I'd like to see his letter first, though, if you don't mind, okay? And then,
It's in Spanish, so.
it's okay, I can read Spanish. And then, do you want to go ahead and write it up and do it today? Or do you want, tell me how you want to do this.
I would, whatever the recommendation is, I would like some time to talk to him about it.
Okay,
And if he would like to take it today, then we can take it today, but if not, then I would ask for something.
no, if he doesn't take it, we're gonna set it. It's 200 days old, it's time. So I guess let me take a look at the letter, let me read it, and then I'll get back to you. And then give me 15 minutes, let me just talk to them and then, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, sure.
I'll print it right now.
Thanks. Hi, Will. Shh. Mr. Trevor Maines, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. Oh, guys, crap. I'm sorry. Sorry, John D. And thanks, Mark. This is Mr. Trevor Maines. It's the last name, Trevor Maines. I guess under Trevor.
Sorry about that, Judge.
It's okay.
So officer, are you ready for me?
Yeah, okay. We're gonna do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
Officers were dispatched to a bar in Harris County, Texas, in response to a suspicious person. The complaining witness, a security guard, told the officer that the defendant had left the bar and gotten into his car, but then returned a short time later carrying a gun. While there were other parties arguing in the outdoor area of the bar. The defendant took the gun and threw it under the fence. The complaining witness retrieved the gun, took the bullets out, and returned the gun to the defendant and told him to leave. Complaining witness then observed defendant go to the back of the bar and hop the fence to get back inside.
So they had told him to exit the bar, you said?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Trevor, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. How old are you, sir? What do you do with yourself these days? What do you do with yourself these days?
So I'm unemployed, I don't have a job.
How come?
Just moved here. Moved out here.
From where? Okay, what are you planning on doing with yourself?
Job.
Okay, how long has it been since you've had a job?
Like 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years since you've had a job? How do you support, how do you live? How do you eat? How do you get money? Okay.
Trouble. See my record. I don't be in trouble.
Do you have any prior criminal history?
Just carrying a handgun in a motor vehicle that was dismissed.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go back to this place. Do you understand? Not to be in possession of any weapons. Do you understand? So how are you going to get a lawyer, sir?
Get paid for
So you're just going to do nothing and so I don't want to talk to you, the case. I don't want to talk about the case, but let me ask you this. You haven't had a job for 2 to 3 years. Why should the people of Harris County have to foot a bill for you when you get to do nothing for 3 years? How is that fair that we all have to pay for your lawyer when you don't do anything? You get to play Xbox all day, just hang out at home and do nothing, and we have to foot the bill for that? How's that fair?
I don't have it. What do you want me to do?
So here's what we're gonna do. I'll have you fill out an application. I'm now making a condition of your bond. You got to get a job. And I'm gonna bring you back in 2 weeks. I want to see what you've done to get a job. You're 27 years old, dude. This life is really, really tough without money. And the older you get, life doesn't get easier. It gets harder. You get bigger, you get fatter, you get uglier, you lose hair, right? And if you don't have a job, if you don't have a trade, if you don't have a way to make money, what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think people are gonna keep giving you handouts the rest of your life? That's how we have all these people who walk the street, looking all Quasimodo-like, have no way of getting money, no traits, no skill. That's not the way to go through life, man. Now is when you work your ass so that when you become 60, when you become 70, you have a cushion, you have somewhere to land. So you have a house, you have a nest egg savings. Because if not, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to have a really rotten and miserable life. This life is a journey, and it's really a good journey where you buy nice things, have nice clothes, take nice vacations, pretty wife, kids, or it can be a rotten toilet of an existence where you're in and out of jail. You ain't got no money. You're begging every single person for this and for that. And that's not the way to go through life. Did you even graduate from high school? I want you to get a job. I will give you a lawyer today. But you're not to use alcohol. You're not to use illegal drugs. And I'm going to test you like crazy. I want you to know that now. And I'm going to hold you to a standard as well. Do you understand? And if you don't, life's not going to go well between you and I. I'm just telling you that now. You will be held to a standard. I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks. And I want to see what you have done to get a job. If you come back here and you ain't got nothing in your hand, it's not going to go well. Do you understand? You might give an application. All right. Good morning, Mr. Daly. What would you like?
So Judge, two things. I've talked to Madam Prosecutor on this case, Judge, and I'm approaching on two things. One, bond reinstatement and PC on this case, Judge. She and I have already discussed it on this case, and we just both want you to hear the PC if we can, Judge.
Okay.
And then on the bond reinstatement as well, Judge.
So officers initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas for a vehicle having a fictitious plate bearing the word traveler on it. During the stop, the defendant refused to provide.
Traveler? Okay.
During the stop, the defendant refused to provide ID or insurance information, stating, "I do not consent to this." Officer attempted to remove the defendant from the vehicle, and defendant actively resisted by pulling his arm away from deputies until he was detained.
Okay. Tell me what.
So we looked at, I'm sorry, Madam Prosecutor, the interference with duties of public servant, Your Honor. Even if my client is failing to give them that, then it is an arrestable offense. But in this situation, it is, Judge. However, in this particular situation, he didn't interfere with anything in terms of his own arrest. I can, if it was a resisting or something to that effect, I can.
They're just trying to get him out of the car.
I don't
And
disagree.
It's classic sovereign case where got the license plate, think that traveling by right is what I think how they term it.
In this situation, Judge, and the reason I'm employing upon the court is, even from what Madam Prosecutor has seen on the video, they're pulling and tugging at his arm, which put my client in some fear. It was more than one officer. It was pretty.
But he still has a duty. If they're asking you to come out, they can lawfully do that. And there are videos, and go on YouTube, right? There are hundreds of videos where officers will literally destroy your car to get you out. When you get into a pissing match with a person who has the power of arrest, who's going to win, Mr. Daly?
We don't disagree, Your Honor.
Right. You know what I mean? That's real life.
We don't disagree, Your Honor. I think under the circumstances of what actually happened, it was not Mr. Daly's position to resist or to interfere. That was not. He was concerned for his safety at that point. And actually, I don't know, did you hear that on the video? Right. And so in reviewing the video, it was pretty quick, pretty brash. They didn't give him an opportunity to respond per the prosecutor. In this situation, it wasn't as if he was intentionally
Remember,
not.
this is just a mere probable cause.
Yes,
So,
Your Honor, I agree.
they ask you to come out of the car one time. Yeah, it's really, so, I think that there's enough probable cause to go forward now. The problem is, Mr. Daly, is that we revoke your bond is set at 2501, and you've continually failed to appear. So, you know, the case and the way that you've treated us, it shows me that you just refuse to accept authority. How are we supposed to deal with that? How do we deal with that, Timberland?
Your Honor, the only reason I bring to your attention is I asked the court to take into consideration, we have a Black male works every day who, and I hate to put that on the court, but I do in this particular climate, that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one. Number two, when they do come in contact with police, and my mother is assistant chief of police. So I can understand, even when I was younger, I was taught that there are certain things that you have to do with when a police officer even stop you on a speeding ticket. What we don't know is whenever these officers come up, when you're somebody who don't have the privilege of having a police officer as a parent, or who isn't familiar and is being raised in this particular climate and seeing what they see on TV and seeing what they hear and everything that has occurred, you don't know what the proper steps are. I was trained from when I was grown up, what you do. I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. I'm not saying that how he reacted to this particular court, it is wrong. However, I'm employing upon the court to ask the court to take into a little bit of consideration, number one, from his perspective, all defendants, can't just say this, but I do see that, from what I've known from this particular case and now in talking to him, I do believe that there is a sense of sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes they just don't. So I'm asking to reinstate his PR bond. I am now on the case. What you know about me, I'm a tight attorney. I run a tight ship. So, and by which of way I believe I can reach him and getting him to court and resolving this matter, which is what I talked to the prosecutor about when you were on break. It's like, let's just resolve this. Let's take care of this.
I'll buy it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not going to do this again, though. I promise you. I don't care whoever you have. If you flake on us again, that's 3 times. It's out. I'm not going to do it again. Do you understand, Mr. Daly? I mean, when you come to court, good things happen. When you don't show up and you continually do it, you can't expect good things to happen. Now, do you have a Texas driver's license?
No, right now.
You're not allowed to drive.
Right.
You have a bond condition and you've signed an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. I don't care how you term it. Driving, traveling, however you're going to word it, whatever you do not get into the driver's seat of an automobile, a motorcycle, anything with a combustible engine where you can get on the road unless you have approval from us. Do you understand? I don't care that you have to work. I don't care if you have to go to church. I don't care if you're going to a funeral. I don't care if you're going to wherever it may be. Do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You're not going to get another one. Okay, Timberlake, I'll reinstate the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll talk to her. We were going to try to talk to Chief, but it's pretty busy
I mean, I think the case is only 3 months old,
Yes,
so you've got time. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court now, but you must stay in touch with her and she'll tell you when you got to come back to court. If she comes back and tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're playing games or you've gone AWOL or whatnot, or you get arrested for something else, all bets off. We good? I'm not asking for much, man. Really. And for future reference, when you get into a pissing match with someone with the power of arrest, you are nearly always going to lose. It's just the way it works. And as a young Black man in today's society, you got to be extra special careful because things can go really wrong really quick. And there's evidence of that over and over and over. Okay? All right. Good luck, guys.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. You want to show this to Chief?
Yeah, I just never.
Thank you.
Of course.
You're Stephen Benito. Mr. Benito, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On 4/29/2024 in Harris County, Texas, officers observed a vehicle run a red light and they attempted a traffic stop. The vehicle evaded for 0.59 miles, speeding 63 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone before crashing into a tree. The driver detained the defendant got detained and was sent to Woodland Memorial Hermann Hospital for his injuries. Officers recovered a bag from the vehicle containing a firearm. So he ran a red light, they attempted a traffic stop, he evaded for 0.59 miles, and then they found a firearm on him.
Where was it?
Tumble.
Don't say anything.
He was traveling southbound in the 29800 block.
No. I mean, like, where was the gun? I guess, yeah. No, it's a accompanying felony. Mr. Benito, I'm gonna find that the probable cause is I'm gonna find probable cause to go forward with the case. How old are you, sir?
He was inside the center console.
You're 17. What do you do for a living, sir?
Not work.
Are you in high school?
Online school. Online school.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm enrolled in online school.
Okay, I'm sending you for a drug test. And I don't want you to smoke weed. I don't want you to use alcohol. I don't want you to have any weapons. Do you understand? Do you have a Texas driver license? You're not allowed to drive. You will be signing a promise with me today, Mr. Benito. I want you to understand that I take it extremely serious. You are only 17 and you're starting your life out now. You have an open third-degree felony, you're looking at up to 10 years in prison. This is not a good way to start life, man. Really. You have your whole life ahead of you, and I'm going to tell you, you end up in prison, it's a veritable nightmare. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you go on the up and up. I want you to stay in school. That's also a condition of your bond. Do you understand? I don't want you out in the middle of the night. I'm giving you a curfew as well. I'll give you a lawyer today, but we're going to work hard and fast to make sure that you go on the up and up. You understand? No more weapons and no driving. Who are you here with today? How'd you get here? Okay, don't drive. I'm not asking much.
Judge, it was in the center console. I just need to review the report.
Okay. This is an affidavit. This is a promise that you're going to make to me. And if I find that you drive, and I'm telling you, I don't care what your reason is, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. The problem with driving without insurance, Mr. Benito, is that if you get into an accident, and let's say you kill someone in that accident, who do you think they're going to come after? Right. No, not after you. They're going to come after the deep pockets, which are probably mom and pop. You don't want that to happen. You understand? Come on. So let's send him for a drug test. We'll have him come back, appoint a lawyer now, and then we'll, get with the lawyer to see how we go forward with. Happy with you, Mr. Jones. You've now picked up a third case. You now stand charged with failure to identify oneself. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On December 5th, 2024, officer initiated a traffic stop on defendant's vehicle for failure to display a front license plate while he was driving in the 5900 block of Mercer Street in Harris County, Texas. Officer made contact with the occupants and detected an odor of marijuana emitting from the driver's side window. All 3 occupants were detained for a PC search. The defendant provided the name of Kendrick Johnson with a date of birth of 2006, which returned with nothing. Officer used a mobile AFIS device and found defendant's real name to be Jamarcus Jones with the date of birth of 8/30/06.
I ordered you as a condition of your bond, and you promised me when you got here last time that you would not drive. Stop. Did you say that he was a driver here? Stop. Don't say anything. I don't want you, don't. You have the right to remain silent, exercise that right. I was under the impression, Rosette, that he's driving here, is he not?
There were 3 occupants in the car, Judge. I'm trying to see if they clarified. He was a passenger. He was the front passenger, Judge.
Okay, so tell me, let's do a deeper dive.
Sorry?
Let's do a deeper dive. So they pull him over, he's the passenger.
There was an odor of marijuana detected.
So what happened next?
So they detained all 3 occupants for
Okay.
a probable cause search.
All
The
right,
driver was identified by his driver's license, and the front seat passenger, which is the defendant, provided the name of Tucker Johnson. And a mobile AFIS revealed that that wasn't his true name. And so he was charged with failure to ID.
do we have any co-defendants in this case?
Yes, John Burns.
Okay. So what's the cause number on that?
On that one?
Yeah.
It's 25-417-01. That's in court 15.
Okay, is there a third co-defendant as well? Okay. Mr. Jones, I'm glad that you're not driving. Regardless, you've picked up a new case. I don't know what we're gonna do, but normally when you pick up a new case while you're on bond, we revoke the bond on the old case. So, I mean, it goes with you. I'm gonna appoint your lawyer today. We'll figure out how we go forward, but for now, I'm gonna take you in. I'm gonna appoint your lawyer. We'll see how we go forward, but you're supposed to behave yourself while you're on bond. You've now picked up a third case. You first have a felony theft, you got a second case, and now you've picked up a third case. It goes with you. Can you please, one more? Hi.
Good to see you, Judge.
You too.
I'm here on Mr. Benito, Benito. Young man got appointed in this case this morning. And he's present here in the courtroom.
Okay.
A couple things, just a little bit by way of background. The state and I have talked about what I think may be some issues in the case. I think as far as a bond condition, he was sent over for testing. I think this is his first appearance here. My understanding is results of the testing came back positive for marijuana. I've talked to him about the importance of not having that issue moving forward. So we're aware of it and we'll address that. I talked to the state about what I think is a legal issue that exists in the case. I don't know that it exists from a probable cause standpoint at this moment, because I don't know that the officers had enough in the way of developed facts. The interesting issue is our chapter 4602 statute about unlawful carrying of a weapon does not apply to a person who is traveling under the code. And, but I think that requires some factual development that was not within the officer's purview at that time. So I won't belabor the court with all those details.
Okay.
He's got the felony charge that's still pending. But we're aware and will not have.
And I think it's 5, did you say it's 5/10 of a mile for the evading?
It's about a half mile. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was something like 5/10. You said something like that. All right, Mr. Benito, we're not asking much. Don't use marijuana. I'm telling you now, you will be tested in 45 days. If you continue to use, what happens?
You understand, Judge?
You understand? Okay, I'm not asking much. Stay in school. Try to be the best person you can. Don't pick up any new cases. Don't drive because you don't have a license, and don't use marijuana. That's it. Were there co-defendants in this case?
No, that I see.
Okay.
Judge, I just put it together. 5/10 is a half a mile. But my math is slow.
They
so-
say 5.
0.59 miles, half mile, a little over half mile.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, be good. It's not hard. Okay.
Yes, Judge.
All right, kids.
Thank you.
Have fun. All right, Mr. Trevor. Do you mind getting a cell phone, please? Do you have a pen or do you need one? I need your cell phone so I can give it to the lawyer. If you look on the TV, that is Mr. Greg, who's been appointed to represent you. Your cell phone, please. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with him, Mr. Trevor. Thank you so much. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with him. You know what the expectation is here. Do you understand? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not asking for much. I want you to be the best person that you can be. Believe it or not, we want to help you. We want to make sure that you amount to something in this life, not just do something. Do better. Be better. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you, if you pick up a new case, you violate conditions, I'm going to revoke the bond. It's very possible you will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand? You got out of jail because you were given a free bond. But for those who are dangerous and for those who continue to violate laws, they usually do not continue to get PR bonds. I want you to know that. And I want you to know that we're going to protect our city at all costs. So what we'll do now is, have we had him sign a reset yet, Victoria? Mr. Trevor? Okay, so we'll just have you step outside. You'll be able to talk to your lawyer, and after that, you'll be free to go. All right? Okay, man. Greg, did you want to say anything?
No, just call me. We'll speak about your case. I'll look at everything. Was PC found already, Judge?
Yes.
Okay. No, yeah, I got his number. I'll shoot him a text right now. And then
I chatted you his phone number there. His phone number will be on your reset so that you will also have a copy of it as well. If you ever have any issues, if you lose your paperwork, if you're unable to get a hold of him, if you ever have a problem, all you have to do is come back here and we can help you out with whatever you need. If you need resources, whatever it may be, come back, ask, and we can help you out. But communication is key. If you don't communicate, we just can't help you. All right? Okay, man.
Judge, how much time did you want on that one?
You are Lawrence Bazil. Good morning, Mr. Bazil. So I see here you've picked up 2 new cases. You've picked up a violation of a protective order or bond condition. You've also picked up a burglar of a habitation. It's alleged that on November 26th of this year, you've picked up these cases. I have no idea what's happened with these cases. Your lawyer's here with you. She's on Zoom. Please don't say anything at this point. I just want to find out what's going on because I don't know. So we're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
Witness stated on August 29th, 2024, he and his girlfriend, the complainant, were home when the defendant appeared at the front of the property and told the witness that he wanted to kill him or kick his ass.
Okay, hold on. You're going way too fast. So who's at the home?
So the witness and the complainant are dating.
Got it.
And the defendant appeared at the front of the complainant's house.
Okay.
Told the witness that he wanted to kill him or kick his ass. The
Okay.
defendant proceeded to walk towards the front door of the house and enter the home without consent. The defendant then grabbed some keys from inside the house. The witness ran outside of the home and the defendant chased after him. The defendant began to hit the witness several times with fists. The defendant then snatched the witness's cell phone and ran out of the house. Complaining witness has an active 5-year protective order against the defendant that was issued on 12/6/23.
So that 5-year protective order is against the witness.
The complainant. Yeah.
Okay, it's a
So the
complainant.
Complainant is the girlfriend, and that's the VPO. And then there's also the Berghaus, but I mean, it's the same complaint.
The complaint is my.
Stop, don't, please.
Hold on, Mr. Fazil.
I mean, really, just now's not the time. There will be a time, now's not it. So what problem did you have with anything, Ms. Oko? Or did you have?
So, yes, Judge. So he was arrested on a VPO on the 30th. The
30th
complainant
of,
August. On the 30th of August for a VPO violation. So for them, for it's a bit, shall I say, unfair for him to be rearrested on a VPO for the day prior to the day he was arrested for the same VPO.
Well,
And he spent 2 weeks in jail on
no,
it.
but they're different, right? So read me if you don't mind, the VPO on 831.
Yes, Judge. So on 8:30, an officer was dispatched to a suspicious person call at the listed address in Harris County, Texas. The complaining witness had an active protective order stating the defendant could not be within 200 feet of her residence. On that day, defendant was walking on the sidewalk in front of her house, which is less than 50 feet away from the residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant had a picture of the defendant on the sidewalk across the street from her residence within the 50 feet. Listen to the protective order.
So, and that was on August 31st. 30th. This new case that we have here now, this is from November.
It was filed in November, but it occurred on the 29th. So it's just a
okay,
late
hold on.
filing. That's kind of the confusion.
I see.
And on the 30th, Judge, the complainant actually went up to the
Okay,
police
so
station.
here's the, why I don't understand what really, I mean, okay, so here's what it looks like. The first VPO that we have here was for the August 30th case. So what it essentially looks like is we have 2 VPOs happening one day and then another one happening the next day. But it looks like I don't understand why, but
Different filing officers. So, I mean, in the first VPO that he was convicted in, the officer filed it the day after. He filed it on the 31st. For some reason, they sat on it until 11/26.
hey, guys. Your camera. Yeah. So this new case happened 8/29 versus the one that he pled to in September happened on 8/30. So
He
this is
pled
like
to-
what she's saying, it's a late filing and it happened the day before that other VPO. You know what I mean?
So I'm reading the DIMS and it actually, so the mom went the next day to the police station to complain about yesterday. That's what I'm reading on the DIMS. She goes to the police station and she says, hey, he's been to my house. He went to my house yesterday and now he's on the crosswalk. So essentially they, on both of the DIMS, they're adding 2 of these days on the same thing, on the same DIM. So she's complaining 20th and the 30th.
We have a 911 call from the incident on the 30th, and it says the officers were dispatched to the house. So I don't believe it was a walk-in report.
I'm literally looking at it and it says that she came to 1200. The complainant appeared at the Houston Police Department Family Violence Unit located at 1200 Travis, and she stated that her son stated the defendant was her son.
Yeah.
I'm reading it.
That's my mother.
Don't,
Mr.
please.
Brazil, hold
Yes,
on.
that's for the most recent VPO. I'm talking about the original VPO. There's a 911 officers were dispatched. The one on the 30th.
That's what I'm saying. On August 30th, 2024, the complainant appeared at the HPD on 1200 Travis, and she complained about yesterday, the 29th event and the today's event. I don't know if there's a today event, but.
So, okay, it may be so, but they're 2 separate offenses, right? Maybe she's complaining about it. At the time, she's complaining about 2 different things, right? Because they're happening in successive order. But I guess technically to the filing, and there's still 2 separate incidences incidents that occur. Are you saying it should, you're saying it should just be one VPO and not two?
I think I figured it out.
Okay.
Yes, she made a walk-in, officers were originally dispatched. She made a walk-in report and she told the officers that the defendant went over to her home wanting to fight her boyfriend. The complainant stated the defendant left when he found out her boyfriend was not home at the time. That's the VPO, or that's the violation that happened that he pled to, I believe. And then the complaint, or the defendant returned to the home to try to fight the boyfriend. That's when the Berghav and the second VPO happened. So these are two separate trips to the house. It's just the filing is messed up.
You need to talk to your lawyer and then she can.
I'll explain to you, Mr. Bezel, don't worry about it. So essentially, there are two different days, even though they happened the one day after the other. She complained the second day about both of those incidences. That's when the officers went to the house to arrest Mr. Bazile, which I think is confusing because if she's complaining about him coming to the house the next day and they go and arrest him that same day, then it's essentially both VPOs should have been filed at that time. I
think I need
Once
to
again-
call the officer. I'm not prepared to make any, decisions on these cases
Why
right
don't,
now.
why don't we do this? Let's roll it to tomorrow. Are you okay with that?
Yes, Judge. I
This
mean,
gives-
Mr. Bazile, he's here on the Berghav anyway, which he has not made bond on, so he's still here.
Well, that's true. So you've got the open felony case regardless. So let's do this. We can roll you to tomorrow. This gives you the opportunity to speak with Ms. Oko. She can do the research she needs to do. It gives more time also to your lawyer to do any other research that she needs to do, and then we can get together tomorrow. And don't. I know you have to understand that anything you say, they're going to use it against you. I know that you're trying to help, and I've seen so many instances where someone tries and they think that they're helping themselves and then they end up admitting something they shouldn't say, and it helps makes the case, okay? So what we'll do is we'll have you put you back and back. I'll have Ms. Oko reach out to you. You guys powwow. We'll bring you back tomorrow and then we'll see what. Yes, yeah. I'm gonna have her call back over there right now so you guys can talk, okay? Yeah. I know that you're itching to talk to her and we're gonna get you right now. 2 minutes. There will be. We will be. That's what we're here for. We're not here to play. Good morning, Mr. Colegio. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 30 days in jail, credit for the 12 days that you've done. You need to understand that this is going to go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. What happens next time?
I won't be here next time, sir.
If I had one strand of hair every time someone told me that right there, I would look like you with hair. Really. If I had one strand, you need to understand that both of these are going to go on your record. They'll be there forever. Even if you have a sip of alcohol, if you get pulled over, an officer's going to see DWI, they're going to probably take you right in. From now on, you're facing a 3rd-degree felony, 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So I wouldn't get in the car even if you've had a sip of alcohol, because if you thought this was bad, wait till you get to felony court. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, it goes on your record. You can never take it off. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You still want to do this?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the offense, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
It's alleged that you had an open container. Is that true or untrue? Did you have an open container of alcohol in the car?
Yeah.
I did discuss that.
I'm going to abandon the second enhancement, but that's an enhancement that makes it a minimum of 5 days in jail to the case, which you've already satisfied it, obviously.
Okay.
But it's still an enhancement that they have on there. They actually have 2 enhancements. Your second enhancement is one that you had Actually, there's 3 enhancements, actually. So it's also alleged here that you had a prior DWI in County Court 5 in Montgomery County. Is that true or untrue? It's also alleged here that you had a 0.15 or above. Is that true?
I would, due to the actual results, I would ask them to abandon that one.
Okay, I'll abandon that one. I got to look to see because that one might make it 90 days though.
The NCC code has to change. Because it's a DWI second with a 0.15.
It's a second.
With a 15,
Okay,
so we need to, so
because it is a 0.14 and a 0.15, so I would.
do you know what the new NCSC code is?
It will be just a DWI second, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have, do you guys have the NCIC code for just a DWI second?
Yeah, Judge. I think it should be the 14.
I don't know. I want you to understand that there's another big thing about this, Mr. Colegio, that DWIs are big business in Harris County. You know, this right here, there is a $6,000 surcharge that goes on you because this is a second offense, plus court costs of around $500. So because you're in custody now, I'm gonna end up waiving it because you're in custody now, but the more DWIs you pick up, the worse life gets. And it's so easy. All you have to do is hit one button on your phone, $40, and Uber will take you wherever you want to go, man. Don't get into a car again if you've had alcohol, because it's not going to end up well. Did you find a chance?
Yeah, yes, Judge. I think the plea paperwork may have to be refiled. I'm not entirely sure. But she's gonna work on it.
Are you okay with abandoning the 15 enhancement?
Last name again?
Colegio, COLL.
AGL.
So that what we'll do. And what's the logic behind that?
Well, one of my fear was that it would make the minimum higher, but the,
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's pretty high. That's why I was, that's what my understanding was. I didn't know that. Mhm. That's scary. That's why I kept it and it's numbers 3. 30 is why.
Okay, so I just say.
You would? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. Gotcha.
So we can continue with the plea as written.
Okay, so is it true that you had an open container? Did you have an open container?
Yes.
No, you were there.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it true that you had that prior to DWI?
Yes, sir.
And it's also true that you had a 0.15 or above?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know how to act. You know what to do.
Yes, sir.
Just be good in the future. We're not asking much, you know? We want our streets safe. How do you plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, sir.
Find you guilty. I will follow the agreements. For cost. So I'm going to waive the DPS fees. I still need that order, please.
Yes, we'll do it.
And then I am going to suspend your license for a year. Do not drive. It's a DWI. It's a second DWI. You're
Okay,
pleading
yes, fine.
guilty.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That, look,
Fine, thank you.
you're going to get out of jail.
Okay, can I get an ID, like a regular ID to start working?
Well, of course you can.
Okay, I'm just asking. That was the reason I turned myself in.
Glad that you did.
Thank you.
You're getting out of here probably today. When you get out, don't start driving.
Yes, sir.
Call DPS. They can tell you how to get your license back. And then when you do things the right way, good things happen. If you go out there and you start driving, even though you got to work.
Yes, sir.
Murphy's Law, what can happen will happen. You're probably going to end up getting pulled over and you're going to be right back over here.
Sure.
So do things the right way. Good things happen. All right. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, they heard from me last week. I was in Cancun. I guess there's a DVR for positive alcohol.
He's out now. Don't want any more issues. Just. I don't want any more issues. I'm not asking much. Just do what you need to do. Really, you know?
The pretrial, I talked to pretrial, they said they're gonna, they listed it about the THC rating. I don't know what you wanted.
God, it's only 70 days old too. All this trauma and it's only been 70 days.
Is that it? The lab is back. There's no alcohol, which we expected that already. We're still waiting for drug analysis, but I think as soon as that's back and the state's ready, we'd see just try it, just try it. Let's get done.
Is that where this is headed?
Well, I looked at I've evaled it, and I don't think it's the DWI. I don't think it's intoxicated when I looked at the eval, but but the state can't do a full eval until they have their labs for the blood. And
Tell me what you think.
I expect that.
I mean, I'm going to tell you now, this has so much drama, Ms. Saba, that I'm like ready to pony it up with Dustin as well. You know, I don't want to sit and wait another 6 months and.
Judge, we don't.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hi, you look great. You know.
What were you?
It's gonna be an alleged drug case.
Oh, yeah. We
Is there a
just don't
DRE
have the
done?
toxicology report
DRE?
yet, Judge.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
DRE, shh. Was there a DRE?
DRE, yeah.
We just don't have the toxicology report yet, Judge, so, and the case is only 2 months old.
I know. No, well, yeah, a little bit over, but yeah.
A little bit over.
How long do you think it'll take?
I think it should take one more month, because sometimes I've seen them take up to 4, but maybe we can give it like one more setting before we.
Yeah. Okay, we'll sit you off 30 days.
Still have them come in to do drug testing.
Yeah, just don't use, you know? All right, so we'll continue supervision now, Felicia.
Just to clarify, so you are permitting the usage of THC?
No, I don't,
So that's like the dilemma here.
I know.
So I don't, because we're just gonna continue about, we have. to-
Yeah, I mean, how do we deal with this? I don't,
Let's get the labs back and
Yes,
eval and try.
I'm not down with you continue to use marijuana. I'm not down with it, Mr. Jones. I don't want you to use. There has to be an alternate method to dealing with issues.
They see a doctor and all kinds of stuff still though.
Yes, yes, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to self-medicate.
So he's not self-medicating, he's got a prescription for marijuana, and I know we've gone down this road already, so he's not self-medicating, he's under a doctor's orders.
He has a second DWI that's open. I don't want you using, Mr. Jones. Just the plain and simple of it. I mean, don't. Do you understand? Don't use and get ready, please. It's way too much drama. I'm ready to put this baby to bed one way or the other.
We'll reach out to the lab and do an
Please.
eval.
All right, I'm gonna do 30 days. I'm gonna continue it now. Don't use. You've got 40 days. Do you understand? Yes or no?
Sir.
Okay, get ready. All right, Dustin. Good morning, Mr. Hinojosa.
Good morning, how you doing?
Sir, you are charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You have two cases, actually. You've got the DWI. You also have the unlawful carrying of a weapon. I'm assuming that one is.
No, in that right, yes.
They're going to dismiss that second case against you. You need to understand that this DWI is going to go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. What you need to understand is that whenever you get pulled over, an officer is going to see this. If they smell alcohol or they smell dope and they come up and they look that you have a prior DWI, you think things will go well? Probably not. So what I'm telling you is that you now have this DWI that's going on your record. If I were you, I would never get into a car, even if you had a sip of alcohol, because you're taking a humongous risk. Do you understand? After today, you will also have a minimum of 30 days in jail for any other DWIs that you pick up. You can use this to enhance your punishment to a minimum of 30 days in jail. You give up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal once you accept this agreement. You can never change this or undo this. It will go on your record. It's going to be there forever. Do you understand? Do you still want to do this? How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? What have you worked out, Mr. Morgan?
That's 1 year, 1 year probation, 30 hours community service, no drugs or alcohol, random urine analysis.
So it's,
180 days.
so the agreement is this: for you to successfully complete this probation, it's 180 days in jail. We will probate that for 1 year. As part of the probation, you will do one victim impact panel. What about a DBI education class?
Judge, he has a, judge, that's fine, we can add that in there.
It's not in here now. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. Morgan, that if he doesn't do the education class, they'll probably end up suspending his license. I don't know for sure, but from what I understand, the rule is that if you do the DWI education, the DWI education, it doesn't suspend your license. But did you mean to add?
Added in, Judge.
Oh, it was an oversight.
Accident on my
Okay.
part.
Got it. So you must do a DWI education class, a victim impact panel. No breath test refusal. If you were pulled over in a car and an officer asks you to submit to a breath sample, you must take that sample. Random urinalysis. No drugs, alcohol.
He has 100 hours in service upstairs. Two guys
Do you have any children?
You're doing the 30 hours here.
Mr. Morgan, I was gonna,
About the community service. Yeah.
He's on a deferred in felony court as well, Judge, where he has to do community service anyway.
I was gonna pick that off anyways. I mean, what
We appreciate that, Judge.
I normally do, what I think would be more prudent is if they have children to do like a parenting class in lieu of, but he doesn't have children, so I guess we'll just.
Judge, he's fully employed, so. He's on his way to become a productive member of society, I imagine. Starting a family at one point, once he's a little more financially stable, will be where he needs to be. Still pretty young though.
You're on felony probation now. You have to have a freaking halo over your head. Because if you don't, you could go to prison for a very long time. Have you been to prison before? If you have any doubts, go online and look at how miserable prison is. It's not a fun place. And I will tell you, there are some parts of prison that the lights don't even go off where people sleep. You can imagine how you have no REM sleep, how much that will play on your psyche and your hormones. It's incredible how bad Texas prisons are. There's no air conditioning. It's freaking awful. If you don't believe me, go look it up. You're on this deferred now, so you got to behave. Do you understand? All right. If you violate this agreement, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm going to put you back in jail. I'm going to bring you right back out, and we're going to talk about whether you violated this agreement. If you violate this agreement, you're looking at up to 180 days in jail. Do you understand? Okay. There's the, what do you do for a living? How much money do you make a month?
Judge, it's contractual, so it's whenever he has business.
There's a surcharge and fines and fees, Mr. Morgan.
And yeah, if we could waive that, as he has a forfeiture pending that is about to make him completely indigent.
Forfeiture.
Yes.
Oh, they took the car?
They took the car and he has been without transportation, and it's been a struggle to make ends meet. So he's.
What kind of car did you have that they seized? Oh my God. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, no, he was.
Is that like a $90,000 car? How much was that?
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Good, and then.
You know, I will tell you, I routinely warn people here about when they end up racing, they do crazy stuff, donuts and this and that. When they pick up a second one, a lot of the times the cars get seized. We see it every now and then when it happens, and here's tried and true. This is a second case, and man, that's a nice, someone's going to get a benefit nicely from that.
Yep.
I hope that you get it, from now on. You don't have to say anything, but I'm just really, actions have consequences, and that's a hell of a, man, I wish I had that kind of car. Here I am with a jalopy. Drive a nicer car than I do.
But with that being said, Judge, if you would be so kind as to waive the surcharges, that would be ideal.
We want you to learn from this, Mr. Hinojosa. This is your first DWI. I will acquiesce to Mr. Morgan, but I'm going to tell you, if you're not smart enough to consider how to get home on a night of drinking, you act like a child, we will treat you like a child. But the way we do it, the way that we spank you is with a ton of jail time, Really, you act like a child, you'll get treated like a child. And I'm going to tell you, I'm waiving nearly $3,500 in fines and fees and surcharges from you now. But I'm going to tell you, a second DWI, it's $6,000 surcharge, not to mention court costs. So you can probably roll out of here with about $7,000 in fines and fees. You pick up a second one. Do you understand? Get a clue. It's not hard. All right, done. I need you to do a waiver for me.
Yeah,
And then
sure.
I'll grant it for you. And then, all right, good luck.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh,
We agreed to no device.
is that the agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to tell you, if we're going to test you, I'm going to test you like crazy. So I know that you're not using. If I find that you use, one of the sanctions that we can do is either guardian interlock or a scram device. Those devices are hundreds of dollars a month. Don't drink, don't use illegal drugs. Do you understand? Okay, man.
Thank you, Judge.
Great to see you like always.
Great to see you, Judge.
Okay, good luck, Mr. Hinojosa. Good morning, Mr. Venable.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Venable, you're charged with 2 counts of assault. One is of a family member. On both of those, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay, Ms.
On January 21st of 2024 in Harris County, Texas, officers were dispatched to an AFM call. Officer met with the complainant. The complainant and the defendant have been dating for 5 months. The complainant and the defendant were arguing. The defendant pushed the complainant to the ground, causing her to scrape her right arm. While the complainant was still on the floor, the defendant stepped on her neck. Officer noted.
Stepped on her neck.
Yes, Judge. Officer noted redness on the complainant's arm and neck.
You know if it impeded breathing?
No, Judge. I don't, I can't, let me. It wasn't charged as an impeding breath, so.
Well, I know it wasn't charged, but is it?
The DIMS don't say that she had any trouble breathing, but I'll look at the offense report, Judge.
And here's the other thing. The first assault is from October of 23. The second assault is from January of this year. And now we have a felony evading arrest on December 10th.
Yes, Judge.
Were these 2Bs? Was he out on bond for these? Vic, do you know?
It looks like. No,
So
it
this is
looks-
Venable, who's now picked up a third case. He had 2 misdemeanors, one's from 23, one's from 24. Did we ever do PC or had he ever been on bond
No, Judge. It was just a non-arrival.
for the whole time? All right.
Judge, it doesn't say that she had trouble breathing. It just says that it caused her pain.
Okay, can you do probable cause? So that's the family member, right?
That's the AFM.
Okay,
Judge.
can you do the first case? Because I don't think we've done probable cause on that one though.
This is the AFM from January 21st. Oh, the ABI, the one before.
Yeah, the one before.
On 9/29/2023, officers were dispatched. On arrival, officers spoke with the witness, the complainant's wife, who said that the defendant assaulted the complainant by slapping him in the face because the complainant's dog killed the defendant's girlfriend's cat. Then officers spoke with the complainant, who said he had invited the defendant into his residence to discuss the situation when the defendant said she should knock the shit out of him. And the next thing complainant knew, the defendant had struck him across the left side of his face with his hand, causing pain.
Mr. Venable, I want you to understand one thing, that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my community at all costs. And if that means I have to make your bond extremely high, taking you into custody, kicking and screaming, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Do you understand? I'm ordering you as a condition, I'm gonna find probable cause on both of your cases, and I'm ordering you not to have any contact with either of the people in this case. There's a protective order that has been issued in the family case. I would get to know it. Don't say anything. You will get the opportunity. Now is not that time. I'm telling you what the expectation is while these cases are open, and what the expectation is for you to be able to live in this free world. Because if you don't abide by these expectations, I'm going to take the free world away from you. You are not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. You're also not to have contact with either of these people, not to be in possession of any weapons, and abide by the conditions of the protective order. If you violate those conditions of the protective order, the state can file a 4th case, a violation of a protective order. If they do, that is the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst cases you can pick up, and you violate those conditions, I can have a hearing to hold you at 0 bond. 0 bond, and I'll do it in a heartbeat to protect every person. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
I do, but it's
So you do not have a Texas driver license. I am now ordering you also as a condition of your bond not to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising you that you're not going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care where you got to go. You violate this, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car.
And Ubering to and from, so.
Don't. There's nothing you can say to justify. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what the expectation is.
Yes, Your Honor.
We are now going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So for now, I'm going to have you come up here, sign this order, promising us you're not going to drive. I will get you to Victoria where we will have you sign a reset for you to go get a lawyer. You will meet with Fleischer for your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go.
So.
The one in there that has contact.
Got it. Okay. So Rosette, the order in the one that's signed by the magistrate is allowing contact, but I'm going to issue one now so that he can have contact. Okay, just so that you know.
Also, I don't see a motive on the assault bodily injury case.
Well, it's because it's not a family member case. That's why. You can only do one on the family member cases. All right, that way. John D. Hey, bud.
Judge, was that CHA? We like Victoria Venable. Okay, thank you.
John D.
Judge.
What's the word?
I'm gonna put him first on young Mr. Cuellar, Diego Cuellar. He's due back today because he wanted some getting his GED. I spoke to him this morning. He had to get an ID in order for him to get his high
I
school.
think he's supposed to come here with his ID today, wasn't he?
That he showed me a proof that he's applying for it. He hasn't gotten the ID.
Come up.
And he's got proof on his phone that he's been researching the GED program. So he's taken active steps towards the judge. He just doesn't have the ID in order for him to get the transcript.
Mr. Cuellar, you haven't done
In the
absolutely.
GED program. right?
I have to wait for the school to mail in the transcript so I can get the ID. They said I need my old school record, so we have proof of who I am. But I have my GED login on my phone. I can show you.
To go get an ID, all you have to do is go to DPS and get an ID, right?
If they're under the age, they actually have to have a student verification form from a school.
That's what he's waiting for.
I was there
He's got
yesterday.
he's got.
What school is this?
Calhoun High School in Port Lavaca. Calhoun High School in Port Lavaca. I called them yesterday. And they're gonna mail it.
The day before court, you called.
That was when I had my appointment for the DPS.
Okay, so how long are we gonna wait for you to get the ID to be able to start on your GED?
Well, they said they mailed it already, so probably it's like a couple of days, like 3 days.
So let's set it a week. Okay, all right, I'll see you in a week, sir. All right.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Judge, was that Cuellar?
Yeah.
Yes, that was Cuellar.
Okay, John D,
Did you
who's
get the
next?
results for his stress test?
Well, you sent.
Second, I'll check.
You sent him to get tested last time, but it hasn't been 30 days, Judge, because you wanted him to come back to show proof. So.
That's all right, John.
So I think by next time, he told me it's clearing out. So that's good. The next one I have, Judge, is, well, we have to approach on Mr. Imamovich, Judge. They're gonna file with an I-M-A.
Oh, you're dismissing it?
Yes, there.
Yes, Judge. So I think, so we had dismissed the ABI, but I don't think we ever got the MOA dismissed. And so he got picked up on a VPO.
So.
But we don't plan on moving forward with the
Okay,
VPO.
all right, I'll sign it.
Got it, Judge.
Thank you,
And then
Judge.
lastly, I have Mr. Johnson, but they are.
So there's the proof. You see that?
Well, hey.
Even if the case gets dismissed, the DPO still lives on.
There you go, Judge. But it's good news, right things being done.
Yeah, you're doing it right.
Mr. Johnson, they are seeking some chief discussion in order to get that off your docket
The
today.
case
I'm
is
just
not
waiting.
over.
No, I got you, but I just wanted to give you an update on it. It might be off your docket today. 'cause